This is probably the longest break I've took from YouTube since posting for around a year and a half. And to be honest, at first I thought I'm going to take only a month break to focus on finding my full-time job. But then 1 month turned into 3 months, three turned into five turned into 10, and now here we are. During the time, I also have closed my chapter of early 20s and turned 25. It's only now that I have finally have time to sit down, relax, and reflect on what have happened. And of course, I want to use this opportunity to share with you guys. I won't go into detail of what exactly happened because a lot of them was personal matters for my, personal growth, family, mental health, finance, relationship and career and all of that. But I hope that from this list of what I'm going to talk about, you will get a glimpse of what have happened. Actually, I have a longer list than 25 things, but I have picked out only my favorites and the things I think are actually significant to my life. Yeah, I'll try not to yap, but we'll see. That's why you guys follow me anyway. First thing, I think it kind of set all of the theme. It's like an overarching understanding of everything is life is simply a set of decisions and consequences. In the past, I used to do a lot of comparison, not to exactly compare, but I just want to make sure that I'm on the right path and not setting myself up to failure. And I also, thought that even though people have different lives and everything, but at least I did believe that there's at least this one pattern or a way of living that people would essentially strive to live for, and other details are just nuances of life. However, this year really showed me that there's no, not even that one pattern. There really is no correct answer to living life, and people will be doing crazy shit and thinking crazy shit all the time. And most of the time, it's not even crazy, it's just not your life, it's their life, and maybe sometimes you cannot comprehend why they do it, but it doesn't mean that it's wrong. So yeah, no one really know what the hell is going on, and life does only just pass with decisions and consequences that you prefer and not. Yeah. Before going, I woke up at 5 just so that I can film this video while the sun is rising, and now I think the sun has risen. Oh my god, but it's rained, so all I can see is just blue skies with the dew, but still, I hope the lighting is not too bad. Trust is a skill that you have to practice. This one is interesting because, in Erickson's psychosocial developmental model, trust is the first thing a human will develop. You either trust or mistrust, and this kind of set the trajectory of how you develop. And I was consciously aware of it. I didn't doubt that trust is significant and essential for everyone. However, I think being more like an adult now, I get to see the true effect of why trust is important, and also how it can display in our daily life. And more importantly, I also have learned that not just about trusting other people, but trusting yourself is the most important thing that you have to practice and you have to have, because trusting yourself is not how to explain, but trusting yourself for me, it is you trust yourself that you can deal with any consequences that will be presented to you. You're not scared, or you won't regret, or you won't beat yourself up when you make such decisions. And I think once you can trust yourself at that level, life just becomes so much easier, because it will become so much easier for you to trust other people, because you won't doubt yourself too much, or you won't questioning yourself whether you made the right choice of trusting them. Number 3, washing your hair, having the right hairstyle, and wear jewelry will make you look more put together than full face makeup can ever do. That's just real. It is difficult to look presentable every day because, especially when you live in Bangkok, it just takes so much time in your life and you don't have enough time and energy to, like, dress up. So for me, even though makeup really changed the way that I look, but I won't feel internally refreshed or I wouldn't feel confident from within if I didn't wash my hair. So yeah, wash your hair. No one cares about your finance, career, relationship, health, and peace as much as you do. Yeah, that's just kind of true, especially when you grow up and you have to take care of yourself. No one's really care that much. I'm not saying that no one cares or like everyone is bad people, despite being so close with them, like, your family or your friends. They're definitely going to care, but they won't be able to care enough to do the action for you. So you have to be the one to do all of these actions to achieve the things that you've set for yourself. So go save that money, go to sleep early, go to the gym, ask for that clarity in the relationship. Do whatever you gotta do to serve you because no one cares. Like, who cares? And that's why you have to choose to care. You have to choose to care about yourself and do what matters. Number 5, always listen to action, not words. This one is pretty, very personal. Oh, sorry. Although I overthink a lot, I still consider myself as a person who is pretty true to herself. I speak or I act the way that I feel, and when I say or I feel something, I try to make sure that the way that I act also match up. So I thought that everyone operated that way, but not really. Sometimes people will be saying things that they don't actually feel. Maybe it's because they want to be polite or they just don't want to face the confrontation, but all in all, it doesn't matter because you have to look at what happened, like objectively, just see what they did and what they say would not matter at all. Yeah, don't surround yourself around people who would make you feel like this. I don't know how to explain, but once you have this feeling of ditch them, they're not worth it, because if they wanted to, they would, and you wouldn't be confused. You shouldn't be confused whether other person want to be with you or not. Number 6, prioritizing protein, fiber, and water in your diet will change your life. Yeah, true. Number 7, in order to live, you have to let life happen. I think this one speaks especially true to me because I was very much an overthinker and I really hate the word perfectionist. It kind of triggers me, but some might say that because I'm perfectionist, I just say that I'm not very much a risk taker, so that's why I always consider all of the possibility. But at the same time, thinking too much or calculate everything take away the emotions of living life out of it. So in order to live a life that feel rich and make you feel something, sometimes you have to let things happen even though it could entail pains, and if that really has to happen, then you have to let it happen. I think it's also applied to other people. This year I've come across some events that I have to be there for other people through their pain, and I've learned that it doesn't matter how much I care for them, I still cannot take away their pain and the growth that they will have to go through, because it's their life, it's their pain, it's their experience, and I cannot take that away from them, and it's not my place to take away, even though I want to help and I want to make sure that they have a happy life. Yeah, and another thing in this area is, I would say that don't set that the happiness that this version of you, today version of you, think you will appreciate. It doesn't mean you tomorrow or like a month, 5 months, a year from now will also see the same happiness. So let yourself in that moment be the one assess and decide whether it is right for you or not. Yeah, let things happen. Whenever you have negative feeling that you don't know where it came from, start by asking yourself whether have you drink water, eat, sleep, shower, or move properly. Yeah, I think this one a lot of the time people, like us as a society and with social media and all of that, we ignore the very foundational factors of our lives, and we think that in order to be happy you have to have this, like, you know, higher levels of fulfillment, which is true, you know, like job security or financial security and whatever, but still you still need the foundation, like normal tribal essentials of being human. Mind and body connection is very real. Sometimes you overanalyze stuff just because you are hungry, so don't do that. Number 9, driving is one of the best compound skills you can ever develop. I don't even know if compound skills is a word, but I'm going to coin that. For me, compound skills is like the skills that once you develop, you will also gain other skills, and I think driving is the best illustration of that. This year is the first year that I actually like am an active driver. Like I drive to work and I drive everywhere. I drive for my family and do all that, which I can kind of see myself grow so much from becoming a driver, because you have to have so many other things in order to drive. Like it's not just about driving, it's about confidence of making decisions, whether it's like the direction or setting boundaries of what other people can or cannot do when they get onto your cars, or like, you know, planning ahead. You will do a lot of executive functions, and also about like financial management and all that. So I just think driving is a good adult skill that you should have if you have a chance or opportunity to learn to drive. Even though you don't drive on a daily basis, I think it's just like there's no downside to it. It's a beneficial skill to have. You will never regret working out and documenting your life. Yeah, after 10 months of not doing YouTube, I miss it. And these are the two things that it might seem tedious and requires a lot of effort, but you will not regret it. You will be happy looking back. Number 11, being self-aware and take accountability is hot. I just think that when people know what they want, or when people know what they lack, they're just so much hotter. So yeah, go to therapy and journal today to be hot. That's what I'm striving for as well. Number 12, listening to songs in an album in order is the best way to enjoy music. I cannot agree more with this one. Like every time that I read this, I still agree, because I cannot remember the last time that I'm into any artist through a single anymore. If I'm going to like an artist or become a fan, I have to go through their album just to understand and know who they are as an artist, and like, you know, you may call them singer, songwriter, people who make music, because album can really capture the essence of them way better than singles or any other form. And speaking of album, you should listen to Loyal Connor Hugo, the live from his latest concert from Royal Albert Hall. The best album of the year for me. I think this one is my favorite. 85% of the time you are in pain because of your ego. It was a hard pill to swallow, but once I did, I felt free. You know, ego, it's such a big thing for everyone, even though you're aware or not aware of it. it is part of your identity. And I think ego is also include the opposite side of what we understand ego is. Like, sometimes we say people with high ego is, thinking they're better than everyone and become cocky and arrogant and all that. But at the same time, for me, ego is the opposite as well. Like, to think that I'm not good enough, or I'm less than, or this is hard for me because I don't deserve this, or I must do this and this and this, even though no one asks for, because I'm less than. And if you really think about it, it's not true. But it's also not because that you're not less than. Like, sometimes you might be, like, sometimes you really have things you have to fix. But it's also not because you're significantly worse than other people. Like, the more I grow up, the more I believe that to actually have self-acceptance and to actually have true self-love is being able to accept that you're not that important. By saying that you're in pain because of your ego is a lot of the time that facade of who we are kind of distract us from actually accept and actually see what is happening, and we try to force to, like, deny it or refuse it, or we cover it with other emotions, and that's why you're in pain. Sometimes if you really can let that ego down and see what happens, life will become a lot lighter. Timing takes more proportion in success than you think. At first I was a little bit angry no one had ever told me this, because I thought that quality over quantity all the time, which is good, trying to do things your best and strive for the best quality is good. But at the same time, it's not about having the best shot one time, and if it doesn't work out, it means it's not for you. Like, something is not like that. Life is just a prototype. Like, the more prototype that you do, you just increase your chance of being in the right timing. It's also not practice make perfect. It doesn't make you any more perfect, or it doesn't ensure that ความอะไรนะมันเรียกว่าอะไรนะความพยายามไม่ no ความพยายามไม่ทรยศใคร like I used to say that a lot, but true for me anymore. It doesn't mean that you พยายาม multiple times and it will, like, it is going to become successful. Like, no one can ensure that, but keep pursuing it. Just increase the chance of you being in the right timing and being the right place to become successful. Like, that's it. So life is just number and probability game. Number 15, for the this one is for the girlies. Be a lady but learn to be a bitch when you need to. Okay, ทัวร์ลงเลยนะอันนี้ but the world is not very nice to women. It's rare at compromise in many scenarios, and this year I just learned that nice girl is not rewarded. Nice girl is taking advantage of. So I'm not saying that you don't be nice girl, like, don't be nice people. Definitely, for sure, still be nice and good and have well intention for other people, but don't to the extent that you put yourself below other people and prioritize everyone over your needs and over your boundaries. Like, at the end of the day, the one who is going to suffer is you. Yeah, it's very important to stand your ground and protect yourself, protect your boundaries, and have a certain belief, certain values for yourself, and it's nothing wrong for stand for yourself. That's what I want to say. Number 16, you can be a beginner at anything and anytime. I started tennis last year and I still am very much beginner, but I think the way that we collectively see hobbies is it's either something you develop as a child or teenager. Like, you're either a music person or sport person or traveling person or reading or whatever, and if you try to change that, it's like you have a new personality and you're going to make a whole personality out of it, and you're going to make a whole personality out of it. Oh my gosh, I cannot speak. But what I want to say is, sometimes when you have new hobbies as an adult, you might seem like you just make a whole personality out of it. Thank God. But now I just feel like that's, it doesn't matter. Like, if I want to talk about tennis every day of my life, even though I'm still very much a beginner because I just learned it last year, then it's fine. Like, if your friend is going to talk about running all the time because she just joined a lot, or if her friend want to talk about running because he just joined a run club, like, it doesn't matter. Like, you can be a beginner at any time, and it doesn't mean that once you've grown out of teenage years and you cannot develop any new interests. Like, feel free to explore yourself and explore the world. There's so much more things for you to learn and be interested in. The next one, you can't move on if you don't learn to deal with that's it. This one is so important in life. Closure for me is not like having that one last chance, one last meal, or this wholesome ending closure to anything, relationship, work, mistakes, doubt, whatever. But for me, closure now is the ability to accept unclear and unsaid words. It's about you moving on, even though you might be curious of what might have happened if you make different decisions. And when you can accept that when shit is done, that's when you can actually move on. If you cannot really make peace with that notion, I think it's going to be very difficult to move on from anything. So yeah, learn to deal with that's it. Closure is not going to help you to move on. I don't think so. I think you yourself is the only thing that can help you to move on. There are only two things on your side when investing: time and consistency. This one is also very important because sure, having understanding of the market or how the stock market works, how DCA and any other fancy finance bro things work is important. But at the same time, for us average normal people, I feel like just do your possible minimal task or like minimal investment, but do it consistently. That is when you're going to see it builds up. You don't have to do any other very like complex plan. Just stick with what works for you and do it consistently. You might not see it now, but from 3 or 5 years from here, you will thank yourself. Oh my gosh, I have so much back pain. Continue with that. Be careful when chasing money. I know that in this economy, it's probably money is a big thing for us, for our security, and we are not only living or finding money just for luxury anymore. It's for survival for many people. But I feel like it's still essential to think about why you want to chase those money, because there's no such thing as an easy job. There's no such thing as easy money. No human will sacrifice wealth for other people. That's what I truly believe. So it's always come with cost, whether it's time, your social life, your energy, your brain power, your knowledge, or sometimes you can go as far as your dignity or values. Yeah, be careful what you do when you chase money and ask yourself where you draw the line. Number 20. For everything that you do, the first time will eventually be one of many times. This one is also for a perfectionist overthinker out there. I know that we may put a lot of meaning into our first time for a lot of things. For me, once I've grown up a little bit more, I feel like it doesn't matter. Like, it still matter, especially with things that you value, but it won't matter as much as you thought. You might have thought that it's like the end of the world or it's going to change who you are as a person, but in reality it probably won't. That day will eventually become a day, and that night will eventually become a night. Like, it's just going to be part of your a big long life story of things that you've done. So don't pressure yourself too much if the first time didn't work out. Number 21, confidence will change the way you see things. Apart from trust, confidence is another trait that will set a lot of foundational mindset and the way you see your life. I came across this quote online a few years ago and it still sticks with me. And it said, confidence is not about being the best in the room, but being comfortable knowing that you are not the best in the room. And that just speaks so much to me. Like, just because you know that you're comfortable with yourself and the way we are. I think the lighting is a little bit bad. I'm sorry, but yeah, being confident is not about, striving to be Regina George anymore. It's just, I am this person and I'm comfortable with where I am and I see where I want to go, and how other people think doesn't matter that much. Like, that's how I see confidence. Next one. If you don't have my phone number, you are not close enough to have problem with me. That's just my motto from now. Sometimes when you're young, you think that you're such a big deal with other people, but I believe that it's because other people were a big deal to you, like the way other people think about you, like you care so much about that. But when you get to a point in your life, you will know that other people doesn't really care about you as much, and so it doesn't really make sense for you to care too much about other people, especially people who are not really like true and genuine to you. Doing the right thing can feel hurtful. Yeah, this is also important. I feel like everything that I've listed out is so important, but I hope that it resonates to you guys. Doing the right thing can feel hurtful because you delay the gratification. If you do the right thing, it should feel satisfying, or you should feel happy, or you should have that like dopamine hit of happiness. But a lot of the time it's the opposite. Like, thing that make you feel electric, it may not be what is good for you, and what is good for you may be a lot more quiet and peaceful and low-key. So that's why you might doubt that whether you have made the right decisions or not, and why does it still hurt even though you think you have made the right choice. So if that feelings ever happen to you, just take your time, take a deep breath, and it will be fine. Like, you will go through it, and it's totally normal to still feel hurt or to still be in pain, even though you think that you have made all the right decisions and did all the right things. It's totally normal. You haven't met everyone and everything that is meant for you yet. Maybe it was just because I was so happy with my school and teenage young adult period of my life, because I've met so many good friends, like lifelong friends. So I was not fixated, but more of I was very committed to those friendships, and I thought I won't really make any more new friends anymore. No, what I want to say is, even though you are going to meet people who of course might not be like your lifelong bridesmaids type of friend, but it doesn't mean that you are not going to meet people who are for you, because you still change every day. And with all of your trusted friends from your childhood or whatever, they also change, and sometimes the version of you and your friend might not be compatible as an adult in some aspect, and you might find other people who are in the same work area or have the same hobbies, and it's totally fine to expand your social network and to meet other people who might be compatible with a newer version, evolving version of you. Collectively, we human, like, we seek social network, we seek connections, and we will trust people that we know, and we will go to the places, the people that we know first anyway. So if you are able to build a positive, well-intended, not malicious kind of network, like you genuinely curious about other people and you genuinely want to make deep connection with other people, and if those people and you as well can provide each other support in any aspect of life, not just about work, it's good. It's a social support, and trust me, you will want social support. Lastly, just because it ended doesn't mean it wasn't real. Yeah, it's totally normal for you to grow out of people and places and dreams and aspiration and everything, because you change, like all of us change all the time, and you will grow out of people the same way that some other people might grow out of you. And it doesn't mean that the period of time that you have spent together, or the so much time and effort and emotion that you have put into that relationship wasn't real. Before I can get this lessons, I was very fixated onto what I thought was me. Like, once I have this identity or my understanding of myself, I fixate so much on what I believe it is and what is for me, and I would do this because this is what I've always known about me. At one point you might have this internal realization of like, this is not right, like this is not for me, but I still don't know what is for me, and that would be confusing. Like, it's going to be very, very confusing. But yeah, it doesn't mean that all of those previous version of you wasn't valid. It's just you are changing into a new person because you have new experience and you have a new life that you have to grow into. By letting go of it, it means that sometimes something won't be visible or won't be in your life anymore. And for me, that for a person who has a lot of attachment issue, like I feel I grow attachment with everything in my life. It's like hurtful, it's scary. But I just want to say that sometimes invisible growth from the lessons or from the older version of you is the better evidence of having its presence. If that makes sense. Yeah, you don't have to be attached and keep hoarding everything just to secure with yourself that it was real. At the end of the day, it was real. But because it's real for you in the past, it doesn't mean it is real for you now anymore. And sometimes it just means it's time for you to let go. It's totally fine. Okay, that's it for today. Another thing I want to add is I really don't know if I will ever post videos with the same format and topics that get me that much interest and audience like before, because from the list and also from every other thing I can see that there's been so many changes in me, whether it's aesthetic choices or things that I want to talk about, or even language that I want to practice and use in my videos. So I really do not know how this channel is going to be or where is it going to be, but I hope that this video is going to be a fresh start to a new chapter, new work in progress version of BAM on YouTube. Yeah, I still don't know how it's gonna look like, but thank you for watching and I hope to see you soon. Bye bye.